Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be building some emu brooders to get them out of our house. When emu egg laying season started in October, we looked for someone local that had a couple eggs that we could purchase so we can hatch and get a couple new birds and some new lines into our farm. The plan is to breed them when they get older, so that way we can have a separate line, so we're not inbreeding and we're keeping it kosher. So today we're gonna make a brooder real quick and get the birds out of our house, because the one that we have in our house right now is jumping over the fence and slipping all over the floor. So it's not safe to have inside.
The emu we have inside, he's growing much faster than any of our other babies have ever grown. And like Raymond said, he's now jumped over the baby gate twice, and we found him on the floor, which is really bad for their legs. If you've seen our beginning videos back when we had Richard and he had that twisted leg, that can happen so easily, and we don't want it to happen to little Jack. So we are quickly trying to build him a new brooder that'll be taller and that can go in the garage.
Yes.
So that we don't have the birds inside anymore. So let's get to work. As you can see, instead of emu helpers, today we're going to have turkey helpers. They seem to gather. They think we're going to feed them again.
So the goal as a brooder is to make it portable so we can put it up and take it down, you know, put it in the garage or in the workshop eventually. But like I said, the whole point is to make it portable. So I'm going to take a couple sheets of plywood and I'm going to cut it into 4x4 squares. And then I'm going to notch halfway up the sheet so we can slide them together so they can, you know, notch in together pretty snugly, so that we can take them up, put them down whenever we don't need them, and kind of just stow them away. Keeping a brooder that size is going to be a pain when we have limited space to store things, so try to make it as compact as possible. Okay, so cutting it in half and looking at it, it's going to be super tall at 4 feet, so we're going to go ahead and do it in 2.5. The cage inside is actually a dog kennel, so we're thinking that what he's doing is he's jumping, and he's putting his foot on the top of the wiring that goes horizontal, and then he's using that to propel himself over. So if we do 2.5, it'll be short enough for Erica to get inside, and then also short enough for kids to be able to see the babies when the babies start hatching from our current breeding pair. So we'll go 2.5. If the big one starts getting a little frosty and starts jumping over, then we might just have to move him outside with all the chickens. We're trying to prevent that because he still doesn't have all of his adult feathers in yet, or all of his juvenile feathers in, to keep the cold off. So we don't want to do that too early because we don't want him to get sick or get hurt by being in the cold too early. So we're going to come down again.
But we do plan to build 2 of these, one for new hatchlings and then one for older ones. So really, if he is still jumping over it, we can just build the second one early and build it taller. So, my son's favorite turkey right here is our meat turkey. We're not allowed to eat because that's his favorite, and so he comes out and pets it all the time. But she likes to stand right behind you and then sit down, so she's quite the tripping hazard. Let's keep an eye on that. Bring this or we pull it.
Maybe pull out that way.
Now this is more my size. I can actually probably get in and out of it.
So here's the concept on the shelter. Like I said, since we need to be portable and compact when we're not using it, is a couple notches on the end of the board, and they'll just slide together right in that notch, and then this will just rest on the ground. So obviously 4 sides will be a little bit more sturdy. This is just 1 corner, so that's what we're going to do with the larger pieces. And then if need be, it's 2.5, so we might not need to. I'll cut a door if we have to get in there, but I think it's short enough for Erica to get in. So that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so this is a 3/8. So this is a 3/8 inch ply. So I'm going in 1 inch from the outside, and from there back into the main portion of the board, I'm gonna go and measure 3/8. So that way we can have a notch 1 inch from the outside to give it a little bit more sturdiness, I guess, a platform, like footing. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna measure 3/8 all the way up halfway, and we're gonna notch it on both sides, and then we'll do the next sheet, and then eventually we'll have 4 and we'll put them all together. Should be pretty quick. fits. Remember, it's fragile, so.
All right, we wound up being a little flimsy when we were doing it at 1 inch. We brought it into, what was it, 3 inches?
3 inches, yeah. So we'll see how this works. A little bit more sturdy. We'll cut a couple more and see how it works. So it's 3 and then 3.5. That way the 3/8 board could slide in there pretty easily without having to worry about it bowing and messing up the lineage. So should work. So it looks like my idea is gonna work. It's pretty sturdy, just for 4 pieces of wood just notched together. So we're gonna take it apart and go put it in the garage to get it ready for the birds.
All right, well now that we know that it works, we're going to put down this non-slip mat. This is a type that they use at restaurants. It's rubber and it has these little stickies on the bottom. And the top is a very low pile carpet. So it's nice and non-slip for the emus so that they don't split and hurt their legs. But then it's also very easy to clean. We can hose it off, scrub it off with a broom or whatnot, and then it'll dry very quickly. So this is very ideal.
We used carpets last year, and that was one thing that we hated doing, was taking the carpets out to clean them. Was it like every other day, every 3 days? It was just a mess, and the carpets would take a long time to dry.
Towards the end, I was having to actually clean them every single day, and then if it rained or if it was snowy, then we were pretty much out of luck. We had 3 carpets we were rotating through. By the time we got to the 3rd carpet, we might have to have the poopy carpet in our house for 3-4 days before the sun came out long enough to dry one of the other carpets. So this is working a lot better. Right now we have a little bit of bedding and straw over the top of it as well, so that I can also scoop that out. But also the nice thing is, since we do have it on wood floors, this is not, when water is spilt, it's not soaking through this. And our wood floors are staying nice and clean and unwarped. So we're gonna lay this out and then we're gonna bring the new brooder in. Perfect size. You can put the bottom on first.
Yeah, no, I'm trying that here. Alright, I have to scoot it out a little bit. I guess it might move when I put this in. You don't need to hold it side anymore. Is it on? No, snap it. That's as far as I go. Wait. Okay, bud.
Now, when we originally hatched Jack here, the emu, we also hatched out a second one, and his name was Buddy, but he just stopped growing. Jack took off, and Buddy was just small and stayed small. And then one morning we came out, and poor Buddy didn't make it. At the same time, we'd had an incubator full of duck eggs, and this little guy was the only one that hatched. The kids named him Ducky Momo. And these two have really bonded. Now they don't like to be apart and they're together all the time. So it works out nicely.
He's pretty tall. He's already standing up straight to the top of to the top of the sides. So he's standing up in here, and if he stands up straight enough, his head is touching the top of the board here. So if he stands up straight, he's 2.5 feet tall. So that's why I wanted to build it at 4 feet, just because then his head is smaller than the sides. I don't want him jumping out again, especially out here, because it's going to get really cold. If it gets too cold and he doesn't have his bedding or his heat lamp, it's not a good idea. But I don't think he's going to be able to jump 2.5 feet, but we'll see. We got to keep him in here for a couple more months until he gets warm. So
it'll help that since it's just straight wood, he won't have anything to put his foot on to help propel him over, which was what the problem was with the gate inside. He had a good footing area to help him toss over.
Yeah, he decided to jump out when we were about to take him out too. Took off the top and he jumped right out of the kennel. So we don't want him to get hurt inside. So that's why we got to move him out here.
But we're also going to use one of the extra pieces of wood for the top. That'll help retain some of the heat, and it's also going to help keep him in. So half of it will be covered as well.
Don't eat that.
We had just changed all the bedding out on the inside enclosure. So we're going to go ahead and just bring that back out for them so we're not just wasting it. And we're going to fill that in here for them, and that'll also help keep them a little bit warmer tonight.
Come here, Jack. Come here, Turkey.
Alright, we put 2 pieces of wood on, kind of separated, that way they still get some airflow. And then we have 2 heat lamps on them, because it is chilly out here tonight. We've got their food and their water is in there. And then every once in a while, Jack here, the emu, likes to chase Ducky Momo around. So we put a little box in there for him so he can run in there and hide and escape the stomping. Heat lamps we use actually aren't bulb heat lamps. They're like a porcelain heating element. So that way, if the emus do peck at them, they're not going to break it and shatter it, swallow the pieces, or cause a fire. But they should be good for the night. Once we shut this big garage door in here, it'll warm up a little bit more too. You keep them extra warm. Look how tall you are. You're so tall already.
Richard the Emu wants you to like, subscribe, and share.